everybody, it's Cheyenne and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about things that dental assistants argue about. Woo! Arguing, yay! Arguing with coworkers is the worst. So I just wanted to do a little video just talking about some of the things that you may get in an argument with your fellow dental assistants and just things to try to avoid those arguments. But anywho, let's get into this. I've talked about this in other videos, and the biggest thing is you just can't be a lazy dental assistant because that can cause a lot of arguments. You want to make sure that you have a fair playing field, that everybody's doing the same amount of work. So common things that you may argue with other dental assistants is, say, if one dental assistant is constantly doing all the hard procedures and you're not helping with that, they may get a little frustrated if they're the ones that are always doing like crown preps or root canals. Those procedures are a longer procedure and they have a lot more of a setup and take a little bit more time. So if they're constantly doing that, they may get upset and frustrated with you. So that could definitely cause an argument. Also, if they're always dealing with like a certain hard patient, there can be hard patients within your office, and unless they're volunteering because they don't mind it or something like that, but if they're a difficult patient, you want to always put them with one specific assistant. Maybe you guys could take turns with that patient, or, you know, just let them know that you are willing to help that patient as well, because some patients can be really draining and hard to work with. And it's just good to make sure, once again, that everyone has the same workflow and obligations and not one person is feeling like they're doing more than others. Another one that kind of bugs me personally is if you have one assistant that's constantly asking for holiday time off and they're not really thinking about the other staff members. If you're going to ask for a holiday off, if your office is open, or say they're open the day after, the day before, make sure that it's even within the office. I mean, if you guys work all through the holidays, don't ask for Thanksgiving and Christmas off. You know, if there's another assistant, they probably want time off too. Talk to them. Maybe you could ask for Thanksgiving off and they could have Christmas off, or vice versa. Or if you really need those two holidays off, maybe next year give it to them, you know, because that can be frustrating too and cause arguments if you're always taking days off for holidays and only really thinking about yourself and forcing other assistants to have to work. When, you know, we all love holidays, we all have things to do, we all have family and friends. So be considerate of the other staff as well, and make sure you're not the only one taking off holidays or trying to beat everybody to it so you get that time off. Also, a big thing that dental assistants can argue about is, again, the workload. Make sure you're helping out in sterile. Make sure you're cleaning rooms. Make sure, you know, you're taking back patients and you have the same workload. You don't want to put all this stuff on the other assistants. First of all, it's going to make you look bad as an assistant. It's going to come up in conversation. And what I can't stress enough is, even if you work in an office where you don't like a certain staff member, or you don't like your dentist or your manager or whatever it may be, that is your reputation. So you really have to keep that. Like, even if someone's being rude to you, you have to be the bigger person and realize that that's your reputation. So you have to be a good employee, and you have to look at it from a different point of view, and you have to be mature about it. So just remember, it's your reputation, and it will get around, I promise you. Okay, dentists, dental assistants, dental staff, a lot of them talk. A lot of them go to like conventions together, do continuing education together. A lot of them talk, and your reputation is very, very, very important. And you want to make sure you maintain that. So you want to be a helpful assistant. You know, don't want to be selfish and just think about yourself. You want to think about others that you're working with. You want to make sure that they're getting holiday time off too, that you're helping the same amount of patients, that you're cleaning the rooms and you're doing sterile. And as someone that's always been that type of person, it can be frustrating. There are days where I'm like, you know what? I do everything and nobody else wants to help me, and like, I do everything, and you know, there are days that are frustrating. If you're a person that's super helpful, you can get taken advantage of, and that is frustrating. It's frustrating. But it also is my reputation at the end of the day. And I know that even though I'm frustrated, when I go to, say, if I go to a new office or I get a new job, I know that I have a good reputation at the office that I worked at prior. All right. I know that they're going to say that I was a hard worker. I know they're going to say that I did everything that I needed to do, that I had a good attitude, that I worked well with my staff. These are things that you want to be said about you. You don't want them to be like, well, she was lazy, she called off all the time, she refused to do root canals or crown preps, she never did sterile, she got, you know, a lot of conflicts with other staff members. You don't want that, okay? And I know that can be challenging. And if you feel that your reputation is at stake at an office, like you can't handle it anymore, then you need to find another office. But you want to be really careful with that. And that is the main thing that causes arguments between dental assistants, is the workload, making sure that it's even. You want an even workload. That is a really, really important thing. And a rule that I always follow is I treat people the way that I would want to be treated. And that can be tough because not everybody follows that rule, and it can be frustrating, but that's my own personal rule. Like, I will treat you the way I want to be treated. You know, if I'm done with my patient for lunch, I'm not just going to run out to lunch. I'm going to walk around the office and make sure that there's nobody that's stuck by themselves cleaning a room. You know, if they need my help, I'm going to help them so they can get to lunch. There's things like that. You want to be helpful and think of others and not just yourself. I get that especially assistants, like we have so much going on, and, you know, we want that break because we've been working all day and we're tired, and maybe you're a few minutes out late to lunch as well. But if you help others within the office, they're going to help you too. So just be thoughtful and think of others and put yourself in other people's shoes, because I do that quite a bit, and it will help you make better decisions. Another thing that dental assistants argue about, which kind of is a pet peeve of mine, is stocking your room. I have, you know, certain assistants that will use my room because it's stocked, and they won't restock it, or they don't stock their room. So I'm constantly like stocking my room, or I'm having to stock their room so I can use their room. Just be respectful. Like, if you're going to use someone else's stuff, like, restock it, because if they're in a procedure after you and they don't have what they need and they have to run out. So stocking rooms, please stock their rooms. If you use it, put it back. You know, also, don't run to other rooms to grab things. I never really gotten that concept either. Like, my room, if you're like, my room doesn't have a lot of cotton rolls, so I'm gonna go next door and steal all of hers instead of just going to the main cotton roll location and grabbing cotton rolls for myself. I don't know, that's like my really big pet peeve with assisting. Like, if you're gonna use my stuff, stock it, please. So stocking can be an argument amongst dental assistants. Also, showing up late. Showing up late to work can be tough, and there are some people that have excuses for it. I remember when I worked at Subway before dental assisting, the smokers tend to get more breaks because they needed a smoke break and they needed to go smoke a cigarette and blah, blah. And it kind of wasn't fair to the people that didn't smoke cigarettes. And you kind of have to think about that too. Now, there are certain things that happen to where you're going to be late, or, you know, whatever it may be, and that's fine. But it can't be consistent, because once again, you're putting the opening patient on the other assistant, and eventually they're going to get frustrated and it's going to cause an argument. So you just need to make sure that you're being fair about that, and you're not just showing up late and being like, well, I have this going on, or I live far away, or whatever the excuse may be. You want to make sure you're showing up to work on time and it's not an everyday occurrence, because that definitely can start a fight. So be careful with that as well. In the end, it's just treat people the way you would want to be treated. You know, I can't stress that enough. Just think about the other people you're working with as well, and have respect for them, and they will have respect for you 100%. But yes, those to me are the most common things within a dental office that can cause arguments. So I hope you guys found this video helpful. And if you find yourself arguing with other dental assistants or dental staff, just take a step back and look at how you're acting or what the fight may be about. And maybe there could be some improvements on your end. I've done this before where I've been like, oh my God, they're so mean to me. And then I look back and been like, oh, okay, I can kind of see their point. Like, put yourself in their shoes and just take a look at it from a different perspective. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.